It's time for Market Explainer, your number one business news podcast. Hosted by Danny and the big man. And it starts right now.
So today, the official e-commerce platform of homemade trinkets hits sellers with an unbearable increase in transaction fees. A controversial car vending machine dealer buys a large auction house. And unfettered by his recent controversies, bro Joe Rogan is still opening his club in Austin. But now we have way more information, and it's confirmed where it's going to be. It's going to be on 6th Street, so screw you if you ever want to park and go to his club. You're never going to do it. And of course, burger flipping robots are here to fix the worker shortage so you can finally get diarrhea after 8 p.m.
Sure.
Let's jump into these stories. So this first one,
Yes.
Etsy, of which I am a seller on Etsy, and just they hit everybody with a 30% increase in transaction fees. I am a seller on Etsy, and I was about to move my mug business, Rise Relentless, to Etsy. And I sell custom-built watches that I customize, and I sell them on Etsy as just a fun side project. It's not a huge business. And one time I sold a watch. I was so excited and was having trouble selling. And I saw that I did all the math, and I said, okay, here are the fees. They hit me with a marketing fee.
100%.
I didn't sign up for them to do that. I can't unsubscribe. I have a bunch of stuff on their platform that I'm in the middle of moving homes. I'm trying to sell a lot of stuff. So I put a bunch of my custom pieces on there. And it ate up my profit margin. I was expecting to make $70. It's not a huge profit margin, but at the end of the day, I got to do something I enjoy. I got to customize the timepiece. And then I got to make, $70 is better than a kick in the pants, as we say.
Right.
And they hit me with this marketing fee. So I completely understand what's going on here, but I also understand that labor costs more now. Everything is just, there's inflation. Right?
Okay. All right. So let's step back a second. We're talking about, yes, it's a 30% increase. We're talking about going from 5% to 6.5%.
Hey, 30% is 30%.
30% is 30%. But again, and I'm not sticking up for Etsy here and I'll tell you why in just a second. But 5% to 6.5%. But however, that's not your only fee. You also have a listing fee, which they charge 20 cents per item. They have a processing fee, and then credit card. Sometimes they charge the seller a credit card processing fee because God forbid they pay for anything, right? Because using a credit card has a fee attached to it.
Of course.
My point is that they're piling up these fees, and where I say I'm not on Etsy's side now. Etsy deserves as a company to charge whatever they want to charge and what they think they can charge, whatever. Here's the point, though. In the fourth quarter of 2021, guess what? We're now we're at the end of February, beginning of March.
Right.
Fourth quarter earnings are coming out, right? A lot of companies have done that the last couple of weeks on the stock markets and stuff like that. Etsy, of course, is on the stock market, and it came out with its quarterly earnings for 2021. Yeah. And they don't need the money, the 30% increase. They posted a fourth quarter earnings of $717.1 million.
So you say they don't need the money, but the reality is, if you're an Etsy seller, you're just going to raise your prices a tad to compensate for these new fees.
But they don't care. Etsy doesn't care about that. They just know they get 30% more.
Right. And so what they're realizing, every platform realizes this at some point, goes, hey, we can just tap the sellers on our platform a little bit. It's the Netflix model, right?
Right. Add $1 to every monthly fee, and you have $180 million. You've just printed $180 million a month.
Yeah, because here's the interesting thing. When I originally got Netflix, I think I paid $10 a month. I think I pay like $22 right now.
Yeah, it was $8 or $9. It was $8 or $9, $10 a month.
So everybody's increasing their prices for everything. The price of Prime just went up. right? It went up from $13 to $15 a month. So everybody's getting hit with labor shortages, cost increases. Great. They posted a $717 million earnings report, Q4 of 21. But they have to maintain that in order for their stock not to go.
Well, but there's a difference between, okay, if I owned a restaurant, right? Restaurants are
Yeah.
all the rage about talking about right now, work shortage or whatever.
Mm,
If I owned a restaurant and my cost of labor or my cost of food went up and I increased my price and I told my patrons, "Hey,
right.
I went up $1 on cheeseburgers cuz ground meat went up 20% or whatever."
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
However, if I flat out told my patrons, "Hey, I made 20% more last year, and now I'm
Right.
asking my employees to take a 5% pay cut so that I can make 25% instead." And I
Yeah.
told that to my patrons. That's essentially what Etsy is doing, right?
Correct.
They are saying, "Hey, we did everything right. We're giving our stockholders, right,
Yeah.
income. We're giving them money. We're
Hey.
all making money, but I want to
Yeah.
charge you 30% more for being
So
here."
so the panini, got a lot of people figuring out how to make money elsewhere other than traditional jobs.
Sure.
And I was just listening to a Simon Sinek. I don't know. He's a I don't know what he is, but he was doing this interview and he's like, listen, the traditional job isn't safe anymore because they'll just call you up one day and say, like the
Absolutely.
like better.com, effective immediately, you got to eat your own shorts. Now this
Mm-hmm.
has happened to me more than once in my lifetime. So people are looking to platforms like Etsy, and Etsy is saying, hey, we had a tease. This is how I'm looking at it. We had a teaser rate to get you to sign for this thing, to get you to sign up
Mm-hmm.
and embed yourself in our platform. Because once you get married to a platform, you're an Etsy seller, you're on eBay, you're on Amazon Prime, DFA or whatever, delivered by Prime. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
FBA, fulfilled by Prime. You're
Yeah,
fulfilled
that's
by
it.
Amazon. And by the way, you're talking to a guy who has done all of those programs. And, uh, it's one of those things where once you're dedicated and on the platform, once you have it, you go, oh, okay, it's an extra whatever percent. I guess I just got to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or
now,
increase my price just enough to compensate, because you can't go too high. You can't
right,
increase the price of your products 40%,
right,
because that may be too much for someone to stick around. But they're married to platforms, and here's where platforms have you by the balls, by the
right,
short and curlies, as they say, because
right,
it's not just about, hey, you're married to a platform and people resist
right.
change, and that's all true. However, these platforms, your audience is there. There's a reason if you go to Etsy,
That's the
you're
thing.
going to Etsy.
That's the thing.
And not eBay or not Amazon or not
Right,
whatever. So your audience, if your business relies on Etsy, that's where your business is. That's where it's flowing from, right?
right.
Even if you have other things, other places, if Etsy's where 90% of your business is coming through, they own your audience. Etsy does. You don't.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So, and
right,
those customers are going back to Etsy to buy from you. If you all of a
yeah,
sudden aren't there on Etsy, they're going to click on the next picture from the next business that's doing what you're doing.
correct. So part of what one of the things they've done is they've called it, this article from The Verge refers to as a controversial advertising program, which some sellers are unable to opt out of. I have not have
Mm-hmm.
yet to figure out how to opt out of this thing. What they do is they run ads on Facebook and Google and all that
Right.
stuff, and they say, "Hey, come buy this, item." And so one of my watches sold with an ad. And the thing that kind of pissed me off is they dinged me back for that ad. I was like, "Hey, man, I personally, I own a marketing company. I have no problem putting up an e-commerce website and running ads on Facebook and dinging myself, but building my own traffic,
Right.
right?" But the reason I go to Etsy is you have built-in traffic and you have to, eBay goes out there, everybody is out there running ads, okay?
Right.
Because they want the traffic, because that's how they get sellers on their platform. But the balls it takes to go, we are going to charge you for sellers for bringing a buyer to our own platform. That's what your platform is for.
That's terms and conditions, right? Everybody
yeah.
clicks the box, terms and conditions. It's all in there. Etsy will probably, if anybody brought this up, Etsy would point to a paragraph in their
in our
terms and conditions saying that every picture you upload to Etsy, we now own
it,
and we can do whatever we want with. Your shop is not your shop, it's our shop. So we own that, so we can link it to. Look, it's all in terms and conditions. And again, you can fight against this, but there is no fight to be had. And that's where people get really upset. Because you sign up. You can choose not to use Etsy now. But as we said,
you end up married to their platform. So I know a handful of guys who made silly money selling those weird like banana and monkey costumes and also stuff on eBay. And then eBay changed how they did business. And it killed their industry. It killed them. But they just said, screw this, we're going to go to our own platform. And these guys went to a couple different places, and they built their own business. But ultimately, it was they did all this Facebook content. Then Facebook changes its algorithm. So at the end of the day, the lesson from this, as for me as an entrepreneur, and for our audience, is you can't stay married to any of this stuff. You have to be nimble, and you have to. And here's I was just listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and he was just like, "Listen, businesses and human beings, we all go through seasons. You have to understand, winter is always around the corner. It just comes, and your business, if you plant the best seeds and do the best crop in winter, it doesn't matter, right? So if you show up to the wrong platform at the right time, it doesn't matter. But so it's just one of those things where Etsy, wherever, they're going to raise their fees. And if you aren't nimble and flexible, and if you aren't, for instance, I'm building up a website just to sell these watches, and it's going to be is just an affiliate link back to Etsy. So I'm trying to take a little more control back from the platform. But hey, if that's what you're doing, if you're an Etsy seller, you better have your own website that has the same branding as the user seller name. And you better have, I don't know the terms and conditions of being an Etsy affiliate. So, but I know on eBay, you can send out affiliate links to your eBay listing, and they still pay you.
And Amazon does that too, right? You can have, but here's the point though, and this is what Etsy knows, right? Is even if you do all of those things, and look, this is true of most businesses. Tony Robbins and stuff like that says this all the time, because obviously the better way to do anything is to slowly build a foundation, build a business off that foundation or whatever. But people don't do that. Etsy provides you a foundation and a store to work out of, just like renting commercial space. You don't own it, but you're working out of it, right? Because that's cheaper than building your own commercial space and building out your own unit and whatever. Obviously, it's better if you own the store, you own the land, but people don't do that, right?
People don't start there. So that's the thing.
Exactly.
People don't start there. It's fine to go into a leased space. It's fine to go onto a platform like Etsy to start. And part of it is you have to know, is there a market for the thing I'm trying to do? And the way to gauge that is to go onto an existing platform where people are showing up and then work towards. So that's the lesson for me. The takeaway is, hey, build your own pirate ship. Go to Etsy, go to eBay, go to Amazon, whatever. While you're doing that, take some of those profits, take some of those revenues, go build yourself a pirate ship.
Keep your own list.
Source. Yeah.
Right? Keep your own list. But people don't, you and I both know, look, this happens in real estate all the time where, and I warn people about this, where brokers will, come to us and we'll give you a platform to keep all of your client lists in, and we'll give you a website and all this. Why would they give you all of that? Even if they're charging you for it, which is a double whammy, because you're paying them for these things. But then when you try to leave, they have everything. They own the platform that you're using. They don't make it easy for you to just take it out. So you have to keep meticulous records yourself if you want to own your own database. You have to pay for your own database program, right?
And you have to
You
pay
have to
for your
pay
own
for your own
CRM.
email software program, your
Yes.
sales software, and people as an average, right? Now, these are all things you should do, but most people, Etsy, that's what Etsy is. It's a sales platform. They give you a way to
Right.
track your customers, to market to
Right.
them, and then on top of that, because it is a web page, here's where they really got you by the curlies. The people that are coming to you, even return customers,
Right.
still are typing in Etsy.com, and then they search for the name of your store or the
Right.
product they're looking for. They're
Right.
not typing in Danny'sWatches.com,
Right.
even if they bought from you 5 times. So
Right.
the click through is still through Etsy.
Right.
Etsy added 10 million buyers in this past holiday season.
Right.
10 million buyers. Etsy will continue, in my opinion, and you know me, I track all of these stupid
Of
stocks
course.
going up and down and stuff like that.
Right.
Etsy will be your next Amazon. It will be what
It's
eBay was
coming.
originally, because
Right.
they make this so simple for people to share their products. And guess what? All around the world.
Right.
If I had
It,
one critique about Etsy, it would be
yeah.
the fact that they don't. There should be a big block on there that says, "Hey, you're buying this product, and it's coming
From
from
somewhere else.
Romania, or it's coming from wherever it's
Because
coming
the number of
from."
times I've purchased something and then I realize it's shipping from another country, I'm like, maron. Like I ordered this thing and I wanted it. So here's the weird thing. I buy a lot of the parts that I use. I source a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
parts that I use to customize the watches on Etsy. And then I turn around and sell them on Etsy. So, and hey,
Good for you.
listen, we're going to jump into this next segment, but I used to go on Craigslist and look for people who took crappy pictures of iPhones for sale, and then I would buy the iPhone and I would just clean up the screen. I would take it out of the case and I would take better pictures of it in better
Mm-hmm.
light on a white background, and then I would sell it for $170 profit a lot of times. So when I moved to Austin the first
Mm-hmm.
time, the way I built up cash because I needed a ton of cash was by doing that. And I remember I drove to Austin with a bunch of like cell phones in my shoes because that was the easiest way to transport them, and realized that Craigslist and it was just it's a
Right.
wild west still. It was wild though, like so
Well, I'm going
anyways,
to say this before we move on. I don't care that it's coming from Romania or whatever.
yeah,
That
I don't
wasn't my
either.
point. My point is the time, like you said, it takes to get. I ordered a couple of things off of Etsy. They were custom things. They were
Yeah,
gorgeous. They were beautiful. It
right,
took 8 weeks to get here because it was coming from God knows what, some
right,
small European country. And
right,
I just didn't notice.
right. So then, same thing. I didn't notice that I had ordered custom key tags, and they were coming from I forget it was somewhere in Europe, and I have a new brand that I'm working on, and I just wanted to get some samples of like how stuff's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up. I forgot, and they showed up 2 months later. Literally 2 months later,
Yep.
and I was just like, "What?" So yeah, it
Yeah.
was. So I don't care where it's coming from either. But Amazon
Mm-mm.
has destroyed our e-commerce expectations by giving everything to us in 2 days. My
Of
friend,
course.
I was in one of the OG eBay buyers and sellers, and I still remember like it took 2 weeks for the first MP3 player I ever bought. I bought it on Amazon, or sorry, on eBay, and I remember it took 2 or 3 weeks to show up, and I was like, "Wow, I just ordered this thing from Seattle, and it's gonna be here in 2 weeks. That's so crazy,
Oh yeah,
right?"
well, I'm old, so I even
Yeah,
before the internet, but if you walked into a Best Buy back in the
yeah,
day
yeah,
and you had to order something that wasn't in the store,
yeah,
it was 2 or 3 weeks easy,
yeah, and that's totally normal. I
and that was
mean,
just the norm.
so when you were younger, did you guys just order stuff out of the Sears catalog, like a house and like a
When I
car?
was a kid, yes, you
Yeah.
did. That's what you got. Catalogs, and you literally did. I am that old, folks, that yes,
Yeah.
I've ordered out of a
Yeah.
catalog.
So no, let me just before we move on to just make this last statement. For people who don't understand, Amazon is just the new Sears. Sears used to sell everything out of a catalog before it opened its stores,
Yes,
right? You could literally buy kit homes and cars out of the Sears catalog. So
everything.
everyone's like, there's never been a retailer like Amazon. They're killing everything. No, it was just Sears. Right. Remember why Sears had this thing called Sears Tower?
And then after Sears, it was Walmart, right? And then after Walmart, it was Amazon.
Yeah, it's all the same thing, my friends.
Yeah, there's no again, you and I've said this, there is no new, folks. It's just a rotation, an ebb and flow of technology and business.
So business is like Taco Bell, okay? It's all just meat and cheese in a tortilla. It just depends on how you fold it, right? You roll it, it's a burrito. You fold it, oh, it's a taco.
I can't wait for the comment. Somebody, I guarantee you, somebody's going to comment and be like, no, Amazon revolutionized the business, and here's 15 reasons why. And they're all going to be technicalities or technical internet or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and by the way, I borrowed that joke from Ron White, just so I don't want to be seen as doing someone else's material. All right.
You stole a bit, Danny. You stole somebody's bit. All right, go ahead.
Okay, right. Who am I? Carlos Mencia? All right. We are talking about Joe Rogan later. So
that makes sense.